Hey, Gwendolyn?
Hi,
Gwen?
how are you?
Good. Are we panelists?
Um,
I
you
suppose
have
we're
to ask.
panelists, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, Commissioner Buford, you're a panelist.
Yeah. I love that. I've got that same artist that's over your right shoulder.
Oh, Beverly Fishman?
Yeah, Beverly. I've got two of her pieces like that. Those
Well,
are the drugs.
yeah, these are one is a study for a actual sculpture, the smaller of the two. And the larger of the two is actually the very first print she ever did a number of years ago.
Yeah. So mine are three-dimensional. I
Yes.
guess you'd call them sculptures again, but they're
Yes.
wall sculptures. Yeah.
She's great. You know, she's
I'd like to meet her sometime.
Oh, well, we have to plan an art trip to Detroit.
Yeah, the people that know her really love her.
She's great. She's she's retired from Cranbrook and working full time now and just producing incredible work.
I think we just hit the quorum.
So should I begin, Bob?
Sure. You can wait if you want a couple minutes, but
Okay, I'll wait. I'll wait until 2 after. How's that?
okay.
Or 3 after. I'll wait until 3 after. We have a short agenda. So Bob, I think I'll begin the meeting now.
Okay, all right.
Good afternoon and welcome to the July 13th regular meeting of the Community Development Commission of Chicago. I am Gwendolyn Hatton Butler, Secretary of the CDC and the host of today's virtual meeting, as Jorge Perez has stepped down from his position as chairman and Shirley Newsom, while on today's call, is not available to chair the meeting today. I would like to thank Chairman Perez for his leadership and many years of service to the CDC. He is joining a new community development corporation and made the determination that it was appropriate for him to step down from his position as chairman of the CDC in order to avoid any potential conflicts of interest with his new position. Due to the COVID-19 public health emergency, an in-person meeting would not have been practical or prudent today. Therefore, in accordance with the Commission's emergency rules, this meeting is being held virtually on Zoom and can be viewed live via the Commission's website. A court reporter is present today to record the proceedings. Commissioners, you have all been designated as panelists, which means that you will be able to control your microphone. Please remember to place your microphone on mute unless you need to speak. If you want to be recognized by the chair, please activate the raise your hand feature and you will be called in order. The agenda for this meeting was posted on or before July 3rd, both online at the CDC's website and physically in City Hall. I will now begin the meeting with a call of the roll. Commissioners, when your name is called, please turn your microphone on, respond by saying present, and please also indicate that you can hear me clearly. Vice Chairman Newsom.
Here, and I can hear you clearly.
Commissioner Brooks. Commissioner Buford.
Here, and I can hear you fine.
Commissioner Cepeda. Commissioner Cox.
Present, and I can hear you.
Commissioner Curtis,
Here, and I can hear you clearly.
Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Griggs, Commissioner Rhodes, Commissioner Thomas, Commissioner Wheat,
Here, and I can hear you.
and Secretary Butler is present. We have a quorum. Quorum is 5 members of the CDC. The first item on our agenda requests approval of the minutes from our previous meeting held on June 8th. The commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes, and if there are no corrections, I am looking for a motion to approve.
So moved, Madam Chair, Commissioner Newsom.
Thank you, Commissioner Newsom. Do I have a second?
Second,
And who was that? I'm sorry.
Bob Buford.
Thank you, Commissioner Buford. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, all votes are to be conducted by roll call so that each member's vote on each issue can be identified and recorded. So now we will vote on the approval of the June committee meeting minutes. Vice Chairman Newsom,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks, Commissioner Buford,
Yes.
Commissioner Cepeda, Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Curtis,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Griggs, Commissioner Rhodes,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas, Commissioner Wheat,
Yes.
and Secretary Butler votes yes. The motion passes. And let it be known that Commissioner Rhodes is in the meeting. The public was given an opportunity to provide written comments up to 24 hours prior to the start of this meeting through the CDC email address, which is cdc@cityofchicago.org. There were no written comments in the CDC mailbox for this meeting. The CDC's emergency rules require that any member of the public wishing to comment on an agenda item could do so by registering in advance of the CDC's email mailbox up to 24 hours before the start of today's meeting. We did not have any members of the public who signed up to speak on an agenda item for today's meeting. For the staff presentations on each of today's agenda items, we will have individuals representing the development teams to help answer the commission's questions. So the first new business item, A, is the 43rd Cottage Grove TIF redevelopment project area in Ward 4, Alderman Sophia King. For our first new item of new business, the Department of Planning and Development is requesting authority to negotiate and enter into a redevelopment agreement with Lillian Marcy Legacy Company for redevelopment of the property located at 4341 to 4343 South Cottage Grove Avenue in the 43rd and Cottage Grove Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, and to recommend to the City Council of the City of Chicago the designation of Lillian Marcy Legacy Company as developer. Aaron Dorsey will present the staff report on behalf of the Department of Planning and Development. Aaron, please begin.
Good afternoon, Secretary Butler and members of the Commission. For the record, my name is Aaron Dorsey, Financial Planning Analyst with the Department of Planning and Development. With me today, I have Chip Hastings, Tim Jeffries, and Terrence Johnson from DPD, and representatives from the development team. They are here to answer any questions you may have. The resolution before you requests a recommendation to the City Council for the designation of Lillian Marcy Legacy Company as the developer for the Lillian Marcy Theater project, and the authority for the Department of Planning and Development to negotiate a redevelopment agreement with the developer. The proposed project is in the Kenwood community area, the 4th Ward, and the 43rd and Cottage Grove TIF district. The project is located just north of the intersection of 44th Street and Cottage Grove Avenue on the east side of Cottage Grove. And here you can see a closer view of the project site outlined in red. The site is currently occupied by a vacant orange-rated warehouse. The building is a former Marshall Field and Company carriage house and warehouse that was built in 1915. The building is also a sister building to a Northside warehouse that was renovated in the 1970s to create the Briar Street Theater. The developer will renovate the building into the Lillian Marcy Theater, a modern theater complex featuring a 350-seat performance stage, a second 100-seat boutique theater, and related areas such as rehearsal spaces, dressing rooms, and a roof deck. The project is expected to start construction in January 2022 and complete construction a year later. The development is expected to create 15 to 20 permanent jobs, numerous part-time positions to work on production, as well as 80 to 100 construction jobs. This slide shows the exterior rendering of the theater upon completion. The Lillian Marcy Legacy Company is a nonprofit entity created for the development of the Lillian Marcy Theater. Its owners are Harry Lennox, a Chicago-based film, television, and stage actor currently starring in the NBC series The Blacklist. He will oversee the theater's first year of operations and will be involved in curating programming for the theater. Keith Giles and Aaron Giles of K. Giles LLC, which is a Chicago real estate developer that has been active since 1987. The firm has developed over 20 residential projects, including purchasing and developing a city-owned parking lot into a high-rise condominium building at 1140 South Wabash, and the historic adaptive reuse of the Old Colony building at 37 East Van Buren Street. And Michael Wardlaw, who is the founder of Legacy Finish Work. He specializes in designs and finishes and has worked on various commercial and residential projects in Chicago for over 25 years, including the Greater Open Door Church in the North Lawndale neighborhood. The team is also retaining Ujamaa Construction as the general contractor for the project and is working with Monhe Capital to pursue new market tax credits. The total project cost is estimated to be approximately $13.5 million. In addition to the combination of debt, equity, and $3 million in TIF funding, the developer intends to pursue new market tax credits to fund the project. The city intends to provide the developer with TIF assistance in an amount not to exceed $3 million or 22.1% of the total project cost. The city funds will be provided from the 43rd and Cottage Grove TIF district's area-wide increment and provided as a grant once the developer has finished the project and the city issues a certificate of completion. The project will have ongoing operations and occupancy covenants that ensure the developer will continuously operate the project in the manner agreed upon with the City of Chicago and ensure an average of 2 performances per week will be held at the theater. Additionally, the final RDA will include restrictions on the sale of the project. The proposed project will allow the following benefits to be realized. The project will renovate a long vacant building and serve as a catalyst for future development along the Cottage Grove Avenue corridor. As well, the project will bring an arts amenity to the neighborhood and will be home to the African American Museum of Performing Arts. And the project will also create 15 to 20 permanent jobs, 800 part-time positions to work on productions, as well as 80 to 100 construction jobs. DPD has thoroughly reviewed the proposed project, the qualifications of the development team, the financial structure of the project, and the project's conformance with the redevelopment area plans, and DPD recommends that the CDC recommend to the City Council the designation of Lillian Marcy Legacy Company as the developer for the Lillian Marcy Theater project. DPD also requests that the Commission provide DPD with the authority to negotiate, execute, and deliver on the city's behalf a redevelopment agreement with Lillian Marcy Legacy Company for the project. Thank you, and I welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you, Aaron, for your remarks. If Alderman Sophia King, if she is on or if someone from her office is on, if you would like to make a statement, please let me know. We will recognize you. Tech support. I'm-
You. Yeah, I'm on.
Thank you. Thank you, Alderman King.
Chairwoman today.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Chairwoman Butler. I appreciate you having me today and for consideration of this project that I am wholeheartedly in favor of. On so many different levels, I think, as Mr. Dorsey just, articulated, there's so many things that this project is bringing to the community. I think just kind of, rehabbing the building itself that's been languishing in the community as a dilapidated building is one thing, but then to take it and make it what I'll just speak it into existence, what I think will be kind of a cultural icon in the community is, even better. And so, I'm looking forward to this building being rehabbed and adding some vitality and vibrancy to the community. But I'm also very interested in seeing the cultural vibrancy that this, let's just call it an institution, because we do want what it brings to be institutionalized, what it brings to our community. And so I hope and ask that this body wholeheartedly approve this project as an addition to our community to really bring some vibrancy and I would say bring back, kind of cultural vibrancy to Bronzeville. And so I just want to say thank you to the team that's been working on this, also the DPD team, as well as my staff. And we're looking forward to this project moving forward with yours and the committee's blessing and the commission's blessing.
Thank you, Alderman King, for joining us today and for your remarks.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. From the development team, we have Rolando Acosta, Harry Lennox, and Aaron Giles to help answer questions from the commissioners. So commissioners, do you have questions? And I'm going to ask tech support to help me recognize the commissioners with questions.
This is Commissioner Weed. I have a question.
Please proceed.
Thank you. For the development team, can you talk a little more about the status of the equity and fundraising component of the revenue stack and also the status of the new market tax credit application?
I can try to give you a summary of that, Commissioner. Good afternoon. It's Rolando Acosta here on behalf of the developer. I also have Harry Lennox and Aaron Giles, who may be able to give you further background on it. But in terms of the contributions, the grants and fundraising, there's been an initial infusion of donations to the project, which purchased for about $1 million. That enabled us to purchase the property. There has been a fundraiser that's been engaged who's working with us and feels confident that we can raise, obviously with Mr. Lennox's help, the remainder of the dollars, given his relationships in the community and throughout the country. In terms of the new market tax credits, Hmong Capital has been engaged. They're experts in this field. They have a long history for it. They are pursuing the tax credits, have gotten some favorable responses from CDCs who have the allocations. Obviously, we need to get further along in the process here before we can finalize anything. We also have an initial letter of intent from CCLF to fund the construction debt for this project.
Thank you, Commissioner Newsom.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. My question is directed to both the alderman and possibly city staff as well. I believe for this particular project to be successful, they're going to need some kind of assistance as it relates to parking for the facility. Have we entertained any arrangement as it relates to use of parking facilities that are presently in the immediate area? Or is the developer considering other vacant land that may be in the vicinity to address the issue of parking?
Okay, before you jump in, if I could ask tech support, Commissioner Thomas needs to be admitted as a panelist. And if that happened,
Yes, she was supposed to press
is she in?
approve. Yeah, she's in now.
I did so. Thank
Alright.
you.
Thank
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. All right, I'm
So,
sorry. Costa.
Commissioner Newsom, Alderwoman Newsom, it's my understanding that there is an agreement between this Lily and Marcy Theater and the development group and the King Center for parking across the street, as well as some of, I think, parcels in the back that will be used along with their partner who's currently in the community behind the connections. But I'll ask the development team to verify my understanding there.
Thank
So-
you, Alderman, because as you're aware, as we continue to build out Cottage Grove Avenue, parking will become more and more of an issue. And we don't want the theater to be negatively impacted by lack of parking.
Nope. So I think we tasked them with that, and I think they answered that. So I'll allow and defer to them for some of the details there.
Thank you.
So, Madam Chairman, if I may, I think I can confirm what,
Can you introduce yourself again, please?
sure, Rolando Acosta, I'm the attorney for the applicant, developer in this case. As Alderwoman King stated, she is correct. We have been working with 2FM, which controls the property that is part of the King Center. They have reviewed our proposal in terms to use their parking when it's not in use by the King Center, which works out to be when we would need it, because that facility is really not operated at night or extensively on weekends, and there's a significant number of spaces there. 2FM is processing the matter, so we expect that coterminous with an RDA being approved by City Council, we would also get a lease for that parking space. So all of that is moving forward. We haven't followed further. There's some complications as to the lots to our east or behind the property. So right now, we're mostly focused on the city parcels.
Thank you.
Commissioner Newsom, any additional questions?
That is it for me, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Rhodes.
I just, as a gallery owner in Bronzeville, I can't say how excited I am to see that arts development is happening, because, you know, we talk about commercial development and residential development. To see something that is going to contribute to the arts in the neighborhood is very exciting. And I commend the alderman and Mr. Lennox and the team on that, and just hope that as you're doing your development, you dig in and kind of meet with the gallery owners and the arts providers in the neighborhood so that we can really have a robust arts culture there. Because I think that there's just more and more interest in folks coming to the area as a destination, and this is going to be a really great addition. So I just commend you on that effort.
Thank you, Commissioner Rhodes. Commissioner Buford.
Yeah, just looking, is there a pro forma, a business plan, or, you know, any way that we can determine or get a feel for how you're going to cover there's a certain minimum performance requirement, I guess, or cover the debt service on the property expenses. What do we have here that would give us an indication that this will be a success financially?
So we have submitted performance showing and
Sorry, Mr. Costa, could you introduce yourself for purposes of the public record?
My apologies, I keep forgetting, but Rolando Acosta again on behalf of the applicant. We submitted with our filing documents performas and operating plans showing that we could, with the assistance from the city, maintain the operations of this theater. It is obviously done partially through the performances and ticket sales, leases executed with partners who will occupy part of the space, including the African American Performing Arts Museum. So we're confident that given the level of assistance that we hope to get, and quite frankly, Mr. Lennox putting his shoulder to the wheel as he has been to get this done, we will be able to make this a fruitful and contributory facility for more than the compliance period.
Well, a follow-up question. In the past, I think we've asked for, pro formas and the kind of thing you said you've submitted here that have reached this panel, at or prior to this meeting. I guess I'm just kind of opening it up to find out, is there anything more we can find out other than that it's been submitted and approved by someone?
So I'm going to ask that someone from the department to address Commissioner Buford's question.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Aaron Dorsey, financial planning analyst again. I can confirm that, yes, they did send a pro forma, and that was reviewed as part of our initial underwriting. Their development assumptions seem sound, and we had no issue with them. It was not submitted as part of the CDC package, but I can get that to the chair to following this meeting.
Commissioner Buford, does that address your concern?
It would if I could see the numbers or see something that gave me some confidence that, there's certainly a nice narrative here, but it's not really backed up by anything. All we have is the cost to build the place, renovate the place.
Would the department like to respond?
If I may, Madam Chair, can I just ask Chip Hastings, sorry, apologies, Chip Hastings, Department of Planning and Development. Aaron, do you have a slide with the sources and uses that you can pull up to address the commissioner's question?
I do have the initial sources and uses. I do not have a slide for a fuller pro forma. We do have the pro forma. It's just not a part of this presentation.
Mr. Cox?
Yeah, I think obviously the question is an excellent question, and given the challenges we've seen in the cultural arts over the course of the pandemic, we know how challenging it is to operate and to make profitable these kind of venues. But I will say that as a practice, we have not asked for their operational pro forma as a part of the land and development process. I'm thinking most recently of the Morton Salt conversion to a entertainment venue. We never saw their financials of how they were going to support this, or the Remova Theater, which is another adaptive for use. We never saw their operating pro forma for how they intended to keep those businesses solvent. And they were in fact acclaimed, and we were all very grateful that someone stepped forward to renovate these. So while I think it's a very valid question, it's not something that traditionally we ask the applicants for. Or at least my experience of the most recent examples, we simply didn't even ask that question.
So let's say for some reason the venture just falls flat on its face. Is there an appraisal of the property? What happens if the downside occurs here and the property has to be taken back into foreclosure? Frankly, I don't even see anything related to the debt here. There's no loan commitment, is there?
So if I can, again, Madam Chairman, Rolando Acosta, the attorney for the developer. So there's an initial letter of intent from a lender with respect to the $5 million that are shown on the screen as debt. And that would be obviously supported by the property, perhaps other guarantees. The rest of the cash, sort of the sources of funds, are really forgivable sources in the sense that it's equity or fundraising, TIF sources, and new market tax credits. In terms of the operations, we've identified for the city in our application a variety of different line items, from ticket sales to venue rentals to merchandising of some of the materials in the facility that make up our cash flow, and then compare that to our expenses or our operating expenses to show that with the TIF grant, we can actually make this work. In terms of the debt, I mean, there is an obligation for recapture if this were sold. It is technically speaking a grant from the city. If there was an unfortunate incident and this were taken by foreclosure, obviously the mortgage holder, which would be the lender, would have first priority. The city would be after.
Commissioner Cox and then Commissioner Curtis.
Thank you. I just wanted to underscore again how exciting it is to have a cultural venue of this type joining the South Cottage Grove area, and it's incredibly consistent with a number of the Invest Southwest investments that are being made, the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund investments that are being made on this street, where effectively you will be able to go to an after dinner, an after theater dinner at the 4200 South Grove complex. And I think we've just awarded 3 different Neighborhood Opportunity Fund grants to African American entrepreneurs who are filling in the opportunities for synergy to make sure that this venue will be successful and that people will have places to go after theater. So I'm thrilled, as I think the Alderman highlighted, to bring these type of cultural offerings back to Bronzeville. I also appreciate 2FM for helping to resolve what was a very sticky issue of how do you park for this type of venue. I think the staff and the Alderman's office tried mightily to get our hands on those parking lots directly behind the venue with no success. And so I think the agreement that the applicant has struck with 2FM gives us, it's a very smart plan to maximize existing parking. And so that was really my only concern, and they resolved that. And I'm just looking forward to this venue and appreciate the development team and the effort they've put to bring it to fruition.
Thank you, Commissioner Cox. Commissioner Curtis?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I'm looking at the uses of funds and looking at the soft costs, which are almost as much as the hard costs at 28%. Can you give us a better idea as to what some of the larger items are within those soft costs? It just seems like an awfully high number.
Rolando Acosta, the attorney for the applicant developer. Again, the largest single number in those soft costs is probably financing related. New market tax credits, while they're very beneficial, are very expensive to secure, probably equating to at least $500,000 of those soft costs. In addition, just debt, financing, interest, etc., are probably the key items in that soft cost.
Excuse me. So you're saying that the larger items in the soft costs are the interest on the debt? Is that what I understood you to say?
Interest on the debt and new market tax credit costs, which are not only, it's effectively the cost of issuance and the experts that have to be brought to the team to secure new market tax credits. The CDC, who makes the allocation, has a cost or a charge for making the allocation. There has to be some serious accounting work done. So you have a large accounting firm that will prepare the necessary documentation. That will be expensive. And then there will be attorneys associated with that closing. Actually at 3 levels: the developer level, the issuing entities level, and the purchaser of the new tax credit the tax credits level. So you have 3 sets of lawyers, none of which is me, who will be earning fees on this project.
So I'm sorry to keep pursuing it. The soft cost then, you said maybe 500,000 or more, and that's associated with the 2.2 million in tax credits. So approximately 20% are of the tax credits are going to attorney's fees for that. And then did I understand that the interest that's accruing on the financing is been added as a use of funds here?
I believe there's issuance, initial interest that has to be paid. And Aaron, I think, is the most, either Aaron or Harry, who are both on this call, can probably give you some detail. I think Aaron Giles, a member of the development team who's on the call, can probably give you further detail. If, of course, he gets upgraded.
Aaron Giles here. So yes, we did include interest on construction debt as part of our financing, which is included in the soft costs. There's also additional consultants, including the architect and the theater consultant, which is higher on a percentage basis than a general multifamily deal, because there's a lot of inherent design factors that go into this process that have driven the cost up a bit higher than what you would see on an apartment deal on a percentage basis. So that's why it may seem a bit higher.
Okay, so I'm sorry. The interest then is in the soft costs is the interest associated with the construction?
Correct.
Thank you.
Commissioner Buford?
Yeah, maybe you could tell me a little bit about the new market tax credits. It does strike me. How do you, have you got a purchaser yet, an issuer? 20% is incredible cost to generate the tax credits. Is there what's special about these tax credits?
Rolando Acosta, attorney for the developer. This is pretty standard for new market tax credits. The issuer, so what we have right now is an entity that is working with us to secure them. We have to secure allocation from CDCs, community development corporations, that have allocations from the federal government. There will be a cost to that allocation charged by the CDC. Then there are notable accounting firms that get involved, and as well as attorneys in terms of the transaction itself. So, I mean, from my understanding, these are, well, I acknowledge that they appear very high. These are relatively routine in the new market tax credit world. We certainly have no desire to pay any more than we are required to for this project. I would add that to the equation. There is no, I mean, this is a not-for-profit, so it's not like the developer gets money back. He just has lower costs, which inures to the benefit of the operations itself by having a lower carry.
I'd like to, at this point, let the records reflect that Commissioner Brooks has joined us. Hello, as well as Commissioner Briggs.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Great. Thank you for joining. Are there any additional questions from the commission?
I don't have a question, more of a comment. I'm excited to had some technical difficulties trying to get in this meeting, so I'm glad I'm able to get in. But I'm excited to see this type of project go in the Bronzeville neighborhood. I've had the good fortune of knowing Harry Lennox for a number of years, and it's an honor to call him a friend and see his reinvestment back into our community. So I'm enthusiastic about what this project will bring the respective community. I'm excited for the alderman as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Brooks.
Madam Chairman, I was going to have Mr. Lennox actually say something, if you would so allow, given that he is the visionary.
You read my mind. I was going to offer an opportunity for both Mr. Lennox as well as Mr. Giles. So please, gentlemen.
Thank you, Chairman Butler. I truly appreciate this opportunity. thank you to our great attorney, Rolando Acosta, who's really helped us really get into the weeds of what is a complicated matter, although greatly beneficial, I think. And of course, thank you to my dear friend, Alderman Sophia King. Commissioner Brooke, good to see you. And the rest of you. I've really taken to heart much of what is being discussed here. And I guess the real way I look at this is that, for Commissioner Buford, I'm guaranteeing the loan. I'm saying that with my own money, that this is something that we have an obligation and a debt to do. This is more than a building. This is more than a community arts center. This is something more like hope and salvation. And I say that in the most practical way. I have seen throughout the country, having been in these organizations as board person and so forth, where the arts are always left out of the equation, and yet they have always performed, overperformed. The data is in, there's no question about it. Of course, to guarantee that something as fanciful an endeavor as entertainment could be secured is an impossible promise to make. But I know that it has always worked before, and I have no reason to think that in the vacuum that is the cultural landscape of Bronzeville right now, that it will thrive. And it will be more important to the country and to the world than it is to just Bronzeville. But if we can concentrate it there, I know, with the goodwill that we've already, and for Commissioner Rhodes, we've talked to some of the arts galleries in the area. We are continuing to make inroads with the community where I'm from personally. And I know that this is a sacred obligation to put here. And I am very grateful to the city's support so far and for every individual that has been introduced to this idea. With the Giles on our side, honestly, they've award-winning developers, Mike Wardlaw, resident of the area. We believe that this team is going to be as beneficial to the city as it has been to us. So thank you for all of the encouragement thus far.
Thank you, Mr. Lennox. Are there any additional comments or questions from the commission, developer, or the department?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Hi, sorry, I was trying to raise my hand earlier, and I just want to make a quick point if I could. About
excuse me, Chip, could you introduce yourself?
Apologies again. Chip Hastings, Department of Planning and Development. I'll get that right someday. Sorry. I did, if you don't mind, I did want to mention that Commissioner raised a point earlier about underwriting and our risk position. We as a department are typically quite risk averse. We write our redevelopment agreements accordingly. We do underwrite the project both from an initial construction budget perspective and an initial operating perspective. The structure of our deals are typically reflected in that analysis. This deal in particular, being that it's an arts organization, the strong support of Mr. Lennox, the strong support of the community makes whatever risks we're taking here a little bit more tolerable. And I would mention also that we have a robust monitoring and compliance unit that we charge with helping us not only underwrite and review the redevelopment agreements that we do write, but monitor the agreements over a 10-year period. And this one is no different. So the deal is structured that way. We have every confidence in the world in Mr. Lennox and the proposal. We look forward to the opening of the project. We're very supportive of it, and it's a wonderful opportunity. And the last thing I'll say is that there was a question raised about the soft costs related to the overall project. I think we'll have to work on this in the future, but the soft costs as presented in this particular budget capture a lot of soft cost items that we could do a better job of breaking out. However, typically new market tax credit deals are very expensive from a soft cost perspective, which I believe Mr. Acosta touched on. So hopefully that provides some clarity from the department's perspective on a couple of points that were raised by commissioners.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hastings. Commissioner Buford.
Yes, thanks a lot for that, Chip. Just in follow-up, I think you said earlier, somebody said earlier that the business plan had been submitted and there was some sort of a pro forma put together and that it might be available. Would that be possible to get that at some point?
I can certainly sit down with the team. We can figure out what was submitted. We do an initial underwriting of operating expenses as part of our approval process. We can look at that, package it, make sure there's nothing proprietary captured in the information. And certainly with the authorization of the developer, based on that, we can certainly distribute that to the commissioners.
Yeah, I think with that information, I'd feel more comfortable. I feel more comfortable now than I did in the beginning, but as the information, I'd love to see the plan and love to see the project completed successfully and come out and visit.
To that point, Madam Chair, can the development team give us a little bit of a snapshot on their timeline? I mean, we're all very anxious to see this venue open and add this cultural venue. I just want, how long do we have to wait for that?
Thank you, Commissioner Cox. Anyone from the development team can respond.
If I may, Madam Chairman, Rolando Acosta, attorney for the developer. So the plan right now is to be closed with respect to the RDA as well as the financing on this by the end of the year, so construction can start a year from now. We're busily working with the architects to refine drawings so that we know we're ready with respect to building permits. And once construction starts, we're estimating a year later. So roughly January of 2023. If we can make December of 2022, that would be even better, and we can celebrate the holidays at the theater.
That sounds great, Mr. Acosta.
It sounds great. And make sure that the planning department knows about your timing and pacing so that we can get you to your deadlines.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the commission? I will now call the item for a vote. The resolution before us requests authority for the Department of Planning and Development to negotiate a redevelopment agreement with Lillian Marcy Legacy Company for redevelopment of the property located at 4341 through 4343 South Cottage Grove Avenue in the 43rd Cottage Grove Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, and to recommend to the City Council of the City of Chicago the designation of Lillian Marcy Legacy Company as developer. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
That was moved by Commissioner Brooks, and Commissioner Thomas, are you seconding the motion?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. I will now call the item for a vote. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, all votes are to be conducted by roll call so that each member's vote can be identified and recorded. Please signify your vote on approval of the motion by saying yes, no, or abstain. 43rd Cottage Grove Redevelopment Project Area, Lillian Marcy Legacy Company. Vice Chairman Newsom.
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Buford.
Yes.
Commissioner Cepeda. Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Curtis.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Griggs.
Yes.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Wheat.
Yes.
And Secretary Butler votes yes. The motion is carried.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, we will now move to item number 7 on the new business agenda, which is the 71st and Stony Island TIF redevelopment project area in Ward 5, Alderman Leslie Hairston. For our next item of new business, the Department of Planning and Development is requesting authority to enter into a negotiated sale with Regal Mile Ventures LLC for the disposition of properties located at 1433 through 1443 East 77th Street and 7700 through 7708 South Blackstone Avenue in the 71st and Stony Island Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, to request alternative proposals and to approve the sale of the property to Regal Mile Ventures LLC if no responsive alternative proposals are received. Nelson Chung will present the staff report on behalf of the Department of Planning and Development. Thank you, Nelson.
Thank you, Sherman. Let me share my screen. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Sherman, members of the commission. For the record, my name is Nelson Chung. I'm representing the Department of Planning and Development. And again, the proposed project is a city disposition of property at 1433 to 1443 East 77th Street and 7700 to 7708 South Blackstone to Regal Mile Ventures LLC. The project again is located in the 71st and Stony Island Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Area. Community Development Commission approval is required for the sale of property located within the redevelopment area. The above map shows the location of the disposition parcels located within the 71st and Stony Island redevelopment area. The TIF was originally established in 1998, and its primary purpose is to eliminate blight and support new investment in this corridor. The project parcels are located near intersections of 79th Street, Stony Island, and South Chicago Avenue, and it's in the South Shore community area. Again, as you stated, the project is located in the 5th Ward. The purpose of this disposition allows for Regal Mile Ventures to complete the assembly of land for the proposed 7-acre redevelopment site. The aggregate size of city disposition parcels is half an acre, and Regal Studios will improve them with a parking lot. Regal Mile Ventures LLC is comprised of ID8 Ventures and Loop Capital Markets. ID8 Ventures was created in 2019 and is the lead developer for the Regal Studios project. Loop Capital is the equity partner for the project. Project principals, both Derek Dudley of ID8 Ventures and James Reynolds of Loop Capital, are both originally from the area and have shared interest to provide meaningful investment for this community. Mr. Dudley is more recognized as the executive producer of the Chai Showtime television series and is present today representing the development team. The disposition of city parcels supports the assembly of land for the Regal Studio project. Chicago is a growing destination for film and is the aim of the development team to use their project as a catalyst to establish a state-of-the-art arts and entertainment district in the South Shore community area. Above is a image of the proposed film and studio center fronting South Chicago Avenue. I do want to point out there are two components to the Regal Studio project requiring city council or city approval. The first is the purchase of the 6 city parcels outlined in red on the above map, which are subject to the CDC action. The sale of the property allows for the Regal Mile Ventures to complete the land assembly of the property for the Regal Studios project. The second component is the zoning plan development requiring the approval of the Chicago Plan Commission. Scheduled on the agenda later this week, the Plan Commission will review and approve the development site plan, the architectural elements, and landscape plan for the project. The above site plan shows the general layout of the studio spaces, the street circulation, and the parking. The parcel map above shows the location of 6 city parcels. They're fronting 77th Street and Blackstone Avenue. Again, the aggregate size of city parcels is half an acre in size and is and also above is a street view of the city parcels. The parcels currently are vacant and unimproved at this time. This is an aerial view of the development site with the city disposition parcels in red. Area to the north of 77th Street is residential, and there remain some industrial uses along South Chicago Avenue. Regal Mile Ventures proposes to construct a parking lot on the city parcels. The parking would support the proposed film studio. And this last slide shows the proposed landscape for the parking lot, which shows that heavily landscaped along 77th Street and Blackstone Avenue. Regal Mile Ventures is acquiring city parcels for $31,000, which is the appraised value for the property. There are no financial assistance provided to the applicant for this project. The development team projects a total investment of about $60 million to complete the project. With plan commission approval later this week, the development team expects to start on the project by the end of the year and has a tentative completion date for late 2022. The proposed project was presented to the community earlier this year. The project is in the 5th Ward, and Alderman Leslie Harrison supports the project. Representatives from Regal Mile Ventures are here today, including Derek Dudley, who is the lead partner for the Regal Mile Ventures team. He's prepared to speak of the team's vision and commitment for this project. In summary, Department of Planning has thoroughly reviewed the proposed sale of the 6 city parcels located at 1433 and 1443 Southeast 77th Street and 7700 and 7708 South Blackstone to Regal Mile Ventures LLC for the land assembly of property for the proposed Regal Studios. Development has reviewed its project benefits, project conforms to the redevelopment area plan, and the department recommends that the CEC recommend to the city council the approval for the city disposition of the parcels. That concludes my testimony. Thank you.
Thank you, Nelson. Is Alderman Leslie Hairston or someone from her staff available? And if you are, would you like to speak? Okay, I don't see anyone raising their hand to speak, so we will move on to questions from the commissioners. And I understand that from the development team, Derek Dudley is available, and I believe Robin McKay may be on as well. So commissioners, questions, please. If you have questions, could you please raise your hand using the raise hand feature? Commissioner Buford.
So the entire site is half an acre, right? Is that correct?
Commissioner Buford, the city 6 parcels combined acreage is half an acre, but the entire redevelopment site is 7 acres in size. So it's the city land represents a fraction of the development site. By assembling the land, it allows for the developer to have a consolidated assembled site for their project.
Commissioner Buford, any additional questions at this point?
No.
So
thank you.
The red outline shows the city parcels.
Thank you, Commissioner Buford. Commissioner Rhodes.
I'm just wondering from the development team, what provisions are being made to address the fact that you're halfway between a commercial neighborhood and a residential neighborhood, and what provisions are being made to minimize sound and aggravation for people in their houses when a theater is likely to be 24/7 and, you know, trucks and that kind of stuff.
Commissioner, this is Rich Clowder. I'm the legal counsel for the developer, and I did want to acknowledge Robin and Derek, who are on the phone with us or on the Zoom with us. Perhaps Derek could speak to his vision of the site. I do want to emphasize that we have done significant outreach both through the Alderman's office and independently to the neighboring and adjacent homeowners and the larger community. We are obviously implementing sound mitigation devices. We are monitoring construction on the site through sound technology, noise technology, and the like. We intend to be a good neighbor. We hope that we are going to have a tremendous spillover effect for local businesses and obviously increase the job opportunities for local residents. With that being said, let me turn it over, if you'd indulge us, to Derek Dudley, whose vision this really is. Derek, do you mind saying a few words?
No, not at all. First, I would like to thank Chairwoman Butler and all the commissioners present for your time today to allow us to present this project. I'm not sure who asked that last question, but I wanted to make sure you got an adequate answer for the question that was raised before I talked about the project. That was
Fine.
that was
That was helpful.
okay. Cool. Well, again, thank you all. It's good to see you again, Commissioner Cox. And I also I know Alderman Harrison is not on the call, but she's been extremely supportive of this project. Her and Kimberly Webb in her office, and I'm very grateful. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, right in a stone's throw from where this site is. As a child, I spent a lot of my youth going to that Sears and Roebuck on 79th with my grandmother. That was my Marshall Field. And in high school, I hung out probably more than I should have at that White Castle on 79th and Stone. So this community has shaped me. I was fortunate that I got into the entertainment business at a young age, and I met a young man who became Common, that many of you may know, and I managed his career for 30 years. And it afforded me a lot of opportunities. It also afforded me the opportunity to get into the film and television business about 10 years ago. And I was fortunate to bring forward this show with Lena Waithe called The Chi, which brought me back to Chicago. I left Chicago many years ago, but because of this show, it brought me back to Chicago and actually made me fall back in love with the city and fall back in love with my community. But I was a bit disheartened when I would drive through my old neighborhood and see kind of the devastation that had taken place in the community and the lack of opportunities for our youth. And I wanted to do something to give back. So I came up with this idea of building a soundstage, building a film studio, because I've seen the transformative power of the entertainment business. I think Mr. Lennox on the previous presentation talked about how arts help to drive hope and salvation. And I think this project will also be something that will represent being a beacon of hope, salvation, and instilling value back into the people in the community. And also something that will generate a tremendous amount of jobs, careers, and opportunities for people young and old within the community. And I think it will bring an exciting industry into the community that will hopefully drive continued investment and a resurgence and redevelopment into the community. I always look at a film studio and try to get people to look at a film studio as our modern day factory. There used to be the old steel mill on 80th and Lakeshore Drive that employed about 30,000 people. And that was a huge job generator. And we had a booming middle class because of that factory. But when that factory left, it left a trail of devastation. And there hadn't been significant investment in the community in a large way since then. So I look at a film studio as a modern day factory. Our output is not steel, our output is not cars, our output is content. And content, if you look around, is one of the hottest commodities out. It's why when you turn on your television, there's 2,000 television stations and there's 50 streaming services. That content has to be created somewhere. And why not make the South Side of Chicago one of the premier destinations where content is created? I think it will help to solidify Chicago as a city. I always talk about making Chicago the Hollywood of the Midwest. We have CineSpace on the West Side, which obviously generates a lot of content creation. There's a need for expansion of our footprint in terms of content creation. And I think there's no better place to put that than on the in the heart of the South Side of Chicago. So, you know, my motivation again for this project is to really revitalize the South Side of Chicago, bring forward jobs, career opportunity, and meaningful continued investment in the South Side of Chicago.
Thank you, Mr. Dudley. We greatly appreciate your remarks. Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just want to make sure that in the record is a letter of support from the alderman.
This is Commissioner Cox. I certainly hope that she was notified because her enthusiasm for this project is contagious. I was with her yesterday and she was talking about this project. There's no question about her support for this. She has been a cheerleader. She has been encouraging us to move it along swiftly and possible. So I hope that enthusiasm is captured in a letter. And if it's not, that letter will be added to the file.
Okay, please go ahead, Commissioner Thomas. Anything else?
No, Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. I see Miss Lisa Washington has raised her hand.
Yes, good afternoon. This is Lisa Washington. I'm working with Nelson on this project. Alderman Harrison has provided a letter of support specifically for Plan Commission. I am currently seeking Kim Webb. I do know that she was supposed to do one for each commission. And as the commissioner stated, we will follow up on that. But she has submitted a letter of support for this project.
Thank you so much for that clarification, Ms. Washington. Commissioner Brooks?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. More of a comment than a question. I have known Derek and his family for a number of years, and it brings me great pride to hear that he's bringing this project home to Chicago. I think with Derek's network, he could have easily shopped this project outside of the city and easily to another state. And I think the fact that he wanted to bring it home to his neighboring community and create jobs and economic injection, if you will, I think should be commended. And I am excited not only for the Alderman, Hairston and her ward, but surrounding wards, because I think this can be a game changer on the South Side of Chicago. So I really wanted the record to state that I'm excited to see this project hopefully come to fruition. And just a quick question, as it relates to our action, I think we are, it's before us to basically grant sale of city land, is it not?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Buford.
Yes, quite an ambitious project. I'm looking at the redevelopment area map for the Stony Island TIF district. And I noticed the date that the TIF district was, I guess, founded. Is that right? 1996, 1998? Am I reading it right?
It should be 1998.
It's taken that. This is fantastic, really. And this little piece here, this little half an acre piece is going to be part of this $70 or $80 million project that's been waiting for 24 years or 23 years to get going, to get started. Now, the other question I had was the connection to the Avalon Theater. I saw that in the write-up. What's the connection there?
Yeah, I think maybe. Oh.
No, go ahead.
No, go. I was going to defer to the Rigo Mile team, but the Avalon Theater is actually right off this map on 79th Street and Stony Island at the southeast corner. And I think, Derek, you were going to talk about the Avalon.
Yeah, there's no direct connection other than.
Mr. Dudley, could you, just for the purposes of the record, introduce yourself again, please? Thank you.
I'm sorry. Derek Dudley with ID8 Ventures and Regal Mile Studio. To answer your question, there's no direct connection with our project and the Avalon Regal Theater other than to pay homage to the meaning of the Regal Theater in that community. And to me personally, you know, growing up, I promoted my first concert in 1987 at the Regal Theater. And it's always, you know, been meaningful to any up and coming aspiring artist in Chicago, whether that was Common, Kanye, you know, Twister. We all performed some of our first big shows at the Regal Theater. So it always has held a place in our hearts for all the creatives that grew up in the city of Chicago. So naming, you know, this project, you know, Regal Mile Studios was in part to pay homage to what the Regal Theater has always represented to the community. And a little bit further to that point, the reason why it's Regal Mile Studios was to widen the scope of this. It's bigger than just our facility. My vision was to always use this as an anchor to create kind of an entertainment district up and down 79th Street.
Thank you, Mr. Dudley. Commissioner Cox, I see you, but I also see Alderman Irvin. So I'm going to ask Alderman to speak, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just wanted to just say a few words, even though this is not in the 28th Ward on the west side. I've known Derek and that crew for about 35 plus years, and I'm happy to see them returning back to the city of Chicago. I know they did their work with the shot that filmed over here on the west side in Center Space Studios. I would have loved to have landed them here on the west side and what they're doing, but I know his heart is on the south side of Chicago. I just wanted to offer a word of support to him and to his project, and hopefully this commission will see fit to give a positive recommendation to the city council for this, because these guys have been working hard, not just around the country, but also have always been the type that have given back to the community, especially down the south side of Chicago where they all come from. I used to live out that way myself growing up a little bit, and that's how I know these guys and know that their hearts and souls are right for the south side of Chicago, which I believe will generate a great interest in this business as it has on the west side, and also help some young people find their dreams, and also provide some sustainability for the community out that way. So that's all I wanted to add. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Alderman Irvin. Commissioner Cox.
Yes, I just wanted to add a few insights from my perspective. First, just thanks to Derek Dudley. You are a visionary and of the kind that Chicago is very, very proud of. Coming again on the heels of Harry Lennox as well, there's a theme here of Black entrepreneurship coming home and making catalytic investments in the neighborhoods that they grew up in. So I can't tell you how delighted we are to support your vision. Also to understand that the mayor coming out of the COVID pandemic, one of the areas of growth for Chicago is in the film industry. And so this is going to be a significant indicator of where Chicago is going and the role that the South Side will play in terms of arts and entertainment. I think I really appreciated the branding, the Regal Mile. I think of not only the Regal Theater, but I think of the Magnificent Mile. So I have to assume that is intentional, that we will look for Stony Island, maybe as far as the Art Bank, to be the Regal Mile of the South Side. And I hope that this cluster of film and culture production will be a catalyst for the Regal Theater to find its reuse. We know it's a very heavy lift, but the city is committed to finding the right programmatic mix for that. And we will look back on the Regal Miles Studio as having been the impetus for that repurposing. So just enormous good things are happening very quietly. Businesses are beginning to identify themselves in the, shall we say, in the halo of this production, in terms of food production, in terms of restaurants. Everyone is beginning to understand the multiplier effect of this catalytic investment. So I'm just thankful that we have visionaries like Derek in Chicago. And I'm very anxious to support this and begin to look at the larger impacts that we can plan coming out of this. I also would just like to thank my team, Lisa Washington and Nelson Chang, who have been shepherding this very quietly and very diligently to get it to this committee. So thank you all.
Thank you, Commissioner Cox. Commissioner Buford, your hand is raised.
No, I think that was my prior hand that went up, and I just echo some of the praise that I've heard just now. Sounds like a great project.
Great. Well, just a point of privilege from the chair's role. Given my love of arts and culture, I'm just thrilled that we're talking about approval of not just one, but 2 arts and culture projects as part of today's meeting. It's quite exhilarating. So now I'd like to call the item for a vote. The resolution before us requests authority for the Department of Planning and Development to enter into a negotiated sale with Regal Mile Ventures, LLC, for the disposition of properties located at 1433 through 1443 East 77th Street and 7700 through 7708 South Blackstone Avenue in the 71st and Stony Island Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Area, to request alternative proposals and to approve the sale of the property to Regal Mile Ventures LLC if no responsive alternative proposals are received. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Thomas. Do I have a second?
Second, Commissioner Brooks.
Seconded by Commissioner Brooks. I will now call the roll. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, all votes are to be conducted by roll call so that each member's vote on each issue can be identified and recorded. Please signify your vote on approval of the motion by saying yes, no, or abstain. We are now voting on the 71st and Stony Island TIF redevelopment area proposal in Ward 5, Regal Mile Ventures LLC. Vice Chairman Newsom.
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Buford.
Yes.
Commissioner Cepeda. Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Curtis.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Griggs.
Yes.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Wheat.
Yes.
And Secretary Butler votes yes. The motion is carried.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you all. And before I go, I would be remiss to not thank Nelson and Lisa Washington for all of their hard work and support on this project. We wouldn't be able to be in this position without them. So I sincerely want to thank them before I sign off. Thank you all.
Mr. Dudley, we look forward to your success, to the successful project.
It's going to be all of our successes.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is our last new business item C, the Roosevelt Racine TIF redevelopment project area, Ward 25, Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez, and Ward 28, Alderman Jason Urban. For a final item of new business, the Department of Housing is requesting authority to negotiate a redevelopment agreement with RS Affordable One LLC for redevelopment of the property located at 1002 South Racine, 1257 West Roosevelt Road, 1357 West Roosevelt Road, 908 through 919 South Ada Street, and scattered sites along Arthington, Taylor, Lytle, Racine, Roosevelt Road, Blue Island, Washburn, and 13th Street in the Roosevelt Racine Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, and to recommend to the City Council of the City of Chicago the designation of RS Affordable LLC as developer. Anna Booth will present the staff report on behalf of the Department of Housing.
Hello, good afternoon, Commissioner Butler and members of the commission. For the record, my name is Anna Booth from the Department of Housing. Also on the call today are members of the development team, Michael Kaplan from Related Midwest, attorneys Rich Clowder and Katie Johnke Dale from DLA Piper, and Nosa Emmerwin from BOA Construction. Additionally, Robin Broman from the Chicago Housing Authority is joining us today as well. As Chairman Butler stated, the proposed transaction before you requests authority to designate RS Affordable One LLC as developer for the redevelopment of the property located at 1002 South Racine, 1257 West Roosevelt Road, 1357 West Roosevelt Road, 908 to 19 South Ada Street, and scattered sites along Arthington, Taylor, Lytle, Racine, Roosevelt Road, Blue Island, Washburn, and 13th Street in the Roosevelt Racine Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area. So the Roosevelt Square development is a CHA plan for a transaction that was to produce 2,441 units of mixed income housing and approximately 75,000 square feet of retail commercial space spread across 6 phases, all to be located on the Near West Side. In 1999, Related Midwest was chosen as the master developer for the Roosevelt Square Abla Homes redevelopment through a CHA request for qualification process. To date, 664 units of rental and for sale, 30,000 square feet of retail commercial, a 15,000 square foot library, and 2 miles of new streets have been completed. This phase that I'm talking about today will produce 222 new mixed income rental units, the rehabilitation of the National Public Housing Museum, and the rehabilitation of 184 units from phase 1, which are located on scattered sites. The first of the new buildings will be located at Taylor between Lytle Street and Racine Avenue. On the chart, it is indicated as T1. This building will consist of a 6-story elevator building that will house 67 mixed income rental units, indoor and outdoor amenity spaces, a package room for residents, and 33 off-street parking spaces. Additionally, there will be a space on the main floor for a market. A private mortgage will be obtained for this space, and the proposed tenant will be responsible for the taxes, insurance, and maintenance costs for the market space. The next 2 buildings, which on the chart are R2 and R3, are mirror images of one another and will be located on Roosevelt Road between Loomis Avenue and Racine Avenue. Each structure will also be a 6-story elevated building and house 70 mixed income rental units, outdoor amenity space, dog run, package room, and 41 off-street parking spaces. The museum building is located at Taylor and Ada Streets and sits directly across from the completed Taylor Street Library and Apartments. The building will be totally rehabbed and bifurcated to house units and the renovated museum. Upon completion, the building will house 15 mixed-income units on the north side and the National Housing Museum on the southern portion of the building. Finally, the areas you see shaded in green are the scattered sites that are to be rehabbed. These buildings are comprised of 3-story walk-ups that are housed between Arthington on the north down to 13th Street on the south. Rehabilitation of these buildings will consist of upgrades to the kitchens, bathrooms, hot water heaters, furnaces, air conditioning units, and flooring. The project is to achieve LEED Silver certification. The following slides are renderings of the buildings that I just described. Please let me know if I'm going through them too quickly. That's the first building. It's going to house the 67 apartments. The twin buildings, this one is at 1257 West Roosevelt Road, 1357 West Roosevelt Road, the National Public Housing Museum, and then a rendering of the 3-story walk-ups that will be rehabbed. So of the 222 new units, 80 will be CHA replacement, 45 will be affordable to households at the 80% area median income and below levels, and 97 will be unrestricted market rate units. For the newly constructed units, income averaging will be utilized, and income averaging actually allows the development to serve households up to the 80% area median income. With the income averaging, at least 40% of the units are rent and income restricted, and the average income limit for tax credit units in the project will be at or below 60% of the area median income. The Taylor Street Library and Apartments comprises phases 1 and 2. Taylor Street has a total of 73 mixed income units, and the chart that shows that upon completion of the new buildings in this phase, coupled with the Taylor Street apartments, 40% or 117 of the units will rent to CHA families, 25% or 74 will rent to affordable families, and 35% or 104 will rent to market rate families. The Chicago Housing Authority tenants will pay no more than 30% of their income towards their rent, and the CHA has submitted an application to HUD for Rental Assistance Demonstration, RAD program, to utilize funds for this program for the benefit of this transaction. So developer Related Midwest formed RS Affordable One LLC, which is an Illinois limited liability company and the owner of this phase. Related Midwest has over 29 years of experience in real estate transactions with a primary focus in the planning and development of multi-unit residential and mixed-use projects. The company is diversified with divisions specializing in development, construction, and property management. Their attorneys, DLA Piper, is a global law firm with lawyers located in more than 40 countries throughout the American, Europe, Middle East, and Asian Pacific. In the United States, DLA Piper have lawyers in more than 25 offices. As you can see from the next two slides, Related Midwest assembled a vast team of professionals to work on this phase of Roosevelt Square. Almost 75% of the architect and design team is comprised of MWBE, and 100% of the general contracting team is MBE. Additionally, this phase will provide approximately 45 temporary construction jobs and 4 permanent jobs. Related Midwest has also participated in 3 community meetings with the aldermen and the community and have reached out to community organizations as well. The proposed total development cost for this phase is $141,284,920 and will be financed with various sources. The city will issue up to $87 million in tax-exempt bonds, and the bonds will generate 4% low-income housing tax credits, which will generate approximately $41.6 million of equity for the benefit of the transaction. The city will also provide donation tax credits, which will raise equity of $2,250,000 also for the benefit of the transaction. TIF dollars of $17 million will represent 12% of the financing, and will be used to pay for or reimburse the developer for TIF eligible project costs. The TIF will be ported from the Western Island TIF and come from area-wide increment. It is anticipated the TIF will be funded in 4 installments, with 3 being funded during construction and 1 payment in fiscal 2023. The TIF will be bridged with tax-exempt bonds, as no TIF funds will be made available at closing. The use and porting of TIF was reviewed and approved by the City of Chicago's TIF Investment Committee in May. Other funding will consist of CHA funds, a deferred developer fee, and transferred reserves from the existing buildings. The seller note of $5 million is the donated value of the land and is shown for donation tax credit purposes. The proposed project is located in the Roosevelt Racine Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area and will satisfy the following goals of the area's redevelopment plan: reduce or eliminate blighted conditions, increase the number of rental units for a variety of income levels, employ project area residents in construction jobs, encourage rights-of-way and open spaces that incorporate high design standards, and provide necessary public improvements and facilities in proper relation to the projected demand for such facilities in accordance with present-day design standards for such facilities. The Department of Housing has thoroughly reviewed the proposed project, the qualifications of the development team, the financial structure of the project, its need for public assistance, its public benefits, and the project's conformance with the redevelopment area plan. And DOH recommends that the CDC recommend to the City Council the designation of RS Affordable One LLC as developer for the development of a new construction of 3 buildings that will house 207 mixed income rental units, rehabilitation of 184 mixed income rental housing units on scattered sites, and the rehabilitation of the Housing Museum, which will contain 15 mixed income rental units in the northern portion and the Housing Museum in the southern portion of the building. Both Alderman Irvin and Alderman Sigel Lopez are supportive of this transaction and have provided support letters. I believe Alderman Irvin is with us today. And additionally, we have members of the team on the call ready to answer any questions you may have, as well as Robin Broman from the Chicago Housing Authority as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. I'd like to recognize Alderman Irvin, and also if Alderman Byron Sigel Lopez is on, or anyone from his office, I'd like to recognize them as well and ask Alderman Irvin and Alderman Sigel Lopez or his representative if you have any comments you'd like to make today in support of this project.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. Again, this project in the Roosevelt Racine redevelopment area, Roosevelt Square, the former ABLA CHA site. We've gone through a robust discussion in the community in relation to this project, its balance, what it brings, and what it will do to help move the redevelopment of Roosevelt Square forward. We've had a couple of meetings with residents. One of the great features, at least for the one along Taylor Street, will be the implementation of a grocery concept, as well as the building, the last building we did, which housed the library, was a great hit in the community. So we look forward to more work and development from the team. And the one thing I want to mention is the fact that this was accomplished with 100% MBE general contractors, which I'm not sure if something at this level of the magnitude has been done in our city. I don't know on CHA or otherwise, but the project of this size is the largest project of this size in our ward that we've seen 100% MBE participation. So I want to thank related the development team, CHA, and the partners that are taking place in this particular project, because this shows that when you give African Americans, Latinos a great field of play, that we can perform with the best of them. And we look forward to seeing them do this work, do a great job at it, and see this replicated, not just in CHA projects, not just in projects with public dollars, but all types of projects. So with that, I will turn it back over to you guys.
Thank you so much, Alderman. Is anyone from Alderman Sigjo Lopez's office on the line and would like to speak? Okay, from the development team, we have Michael Kaplan, Richard Clodwitter, Katie Yankee Dale, Nosa Winneman, and from the CHA, we have Robin Broman to answer questions from the commissioners. Commissioners, your questions, please.
Madam Chairman,
Yeah, Commissioner Newsom, please.
I have one question of the development team. Kurt Bailey. The name rings a bell with me, and I was trying to make the connection. Can someone share with me the Bailey development history or help to refresh my memory as to why the name is staying with me?
This is Rich Clowder from DLA Piper, the legal counsel for the developer. I have known Kurt for 15 years. His mom was a city planner in Boston. I'm not aware of what his dad's employment was, but Kurt is a first-generation developer and has spent the majority of his career leading Related Midwest. So it must be a different Bailey, I'm going to guess.
Okay, I'm familiar.
That helps,
with,
Commissioner.
I'm related, is very familiar to me, and that may be the connection. I was just trying to determine why the name stood out in my head. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Other questions from the commissioners? If there are no other questions from the commissioners, we will now call the item for a vote. The resolution before us requests authority for the Department of Housing to negotiate a redevelopment agreement with RS Affordable One LLC for redevelopment of the property located at 1002 South Racine, 1257 West Roosevelt Road, 1357 West Roosevelt Road, 908 through 919 South Ada Street, and scattered sites along Arthington, Taylor, Lytle, Racine, Roosevelt Road, Blue Island, Washburn, and 13th Street in the Roosevelt Racine Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, and to recommend to the City Council of the City of Chicago the designation of RS Affordable LLC as developer. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Newsom. Do I have a second?
It's seconded by Commissioner Cox.
Thank you, Commissioner Cox. I will now call the roll. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, all votes are to be conducted by roll call so that each member's vote on each issue can be identified and recorded. Please signify your vote on approval of the motion by saying yes, no, or abstain. The matter before us is the Roosevelt Racine TIF redevelopment project, wards 25 and 28. RS Affordable LLC as developer. Vice Chairman Newsom.
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Buford.
Yes.
Commissioner Cepeda. Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Curtis.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Griggs.
Abstain.
Commissioner Rhodes. Commissioner Rhodes, are you still on? Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Wheat.
Yes.
And Secretary Butler votes yes. The motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'd like to thank Bob McKenna for the great script. Kept me on point. Thank you, Bob. May I have a motion to?
Madam Chair, I have a comment.
Yes.
I'd like to personally thank you for chairing today's meeting, particularly with my last minute issues. I want you to know that I was not purposely, as well as my fellow commissioners to know that I was not purposely derelict in my duty. I am scheduled for eye surgery at 6 a.m. in the morning. I am not supposed to be reading, zooming, or staring at a screen. And every once in a while, I needed to rest my eyes, and I didn't want the commissioners or those persons presenting projects to think that I was not paying attention or sleeping on the job. And I received several calls during the course of this meeting stating that I was disobeying, and so I had to step away. So thank you for stepping up to chair today's meeting.
Well, you are quite welcome, Commissioner Newsom, but I'm going to admonish you for even being on, given orders. So
thank you.
Good luck with your surgery. And
Thank
it's
you.
my pleasure to stand in. I can't stand in your shoes. You're too worthy. But it
No,
was my pleasure. It was my pleasure to assist you today. So
thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate you.
So, Madam Chair, I would also like to commend you for stepping in on very, very short notice
Yes.
to chair the meeting and doing a wonderful, wonderful job. I think I felt like we were in very, very good hands after many years with Jorge, who has some very big shoes to fill. But I think you did exceptionally well today. So thank you for taking it
pressure
on.
was on for sure. So. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. I think I heard a motion to adjourn the meeting and seconded. So let's just confirm that. Are we adjourned?
So moved.
So moved.
All right, great. Your motion and seconded. Thank you, everybody. Have a great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.